It is no longer in the world of conspiracy theories. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has outright stated that he wants to take advantage of the pandemic in order to change the system into a socialist order. Be afraid. Be very afraid. A trending video has revealed Trudeau's plan to sell off Canada to the WEF under the guise of the Great Reset or Agenda 21. The original source video was from the United Nations itself. The actual name of the event was Financing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in the Era of COVID-19 and Beyond. But what is this Agenda 2030 business? What is this Great Reset? It means globalism. It means socialism. It means open borders. It means replacing local sovereignty with supranational organizations. It means more of the UN and less of Canada, less of the people of the world. Welcome to the Savvy Few. If you are new here, please support us by liking this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others to bring more awareness to the sinister plans that has been orchestrated against the world. Promising a reset is underway. Trudeau developed the puzzling Form Back Better trademark that has surfaced on the lips of legislators and NGOs around the world. At first transmission in late September, the discourse saw him promise $400 million to worldwide helpful guide ventures, while some trust COVID-19 was purposely released to introduce the Great Reset. Others think the WEF and the decision classes have only seized on the pandemic as the ideal occasion to force their arrangement on populaces improbable to grasp it in the event that they had a decision. Many were wary about plunging down the reset hair opening, while at the same time recognizing that a curiously enormous number of world pioneers and go-chiefs were talking in comparable terms. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden's mission trademark was Work Back Better, while UK PM Boris Johnson declared months prior that his nation would utilize the COVID as an occasion to work back better. The Liberals spent the summer speaking about the need to reimagine Canada post-COVID. They even adopted the Biden campaign slogan of Build Back Better. Days before the throne speech, the government began to pull back from that and put forward a more modest plan focused fully on the pandemic. Seems the idea of using a global health crisis as an excuse to fundamentally alter society didn't sit well with the public. Well, that doesn't mean Trudeau was fully shying away from that idea when it came to speaking to a global audience. A video of the PM speaking to a United Nations meeting at the end of September has started to gain all the wrong kind of attention as people pursed and shared his words over the weekend. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset, Trudeau said. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change. That one phrase from Trudeau, an opportunity for a reset, is proof he's having Canada join the Great Reset. Of course, it doesn't help that Trudeau also invoked the name of a major United Nations program aimed at reshaping the economy through environmental means. To embrace socialism, building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, Trudeau said. If you aren't familiar with the Great Reset or Agenda 2030, fear not. It just means you are a very normal person leading your life. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be worried. Agenda 2030, or Agenda 21 as the UN previously called it, for years, and most people don't know about it. Although starting in the environmental movement, Agenda 2030 and its predecessor have been clear that they want to use climate change to bring about a more socialist economic change in society. The Great Reset is a newer plan promoted by the World Economic Forum as a way to use the pandemic to change the global political and economic systems. They have launched a series of papers, talks, and a podcast aimed at having those who attend and manage the WEF set out the terms for the reset. As we enter a unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery, this initiative will offer insights to help inform all those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, and the management of a global commons, the WEF website states. These aren't conspiracy theories. These are plans laid out in the open for anyone with eyes to see that the Prime Minister would seek to use a global pandemic one that has claimed the lives of more than 10,000 Canadians. To turn towards these projects to change Canada is wrong-headed. Trudeau didn't run seeking a mandate for such change last year, and he hasn't asked for it since. If Trudeau wants to use the Great Reset or Agenda 2030 to fundamentally change Canada into some kind of Euro-green socialist utopia, then he should seek a mandate from the people. But here it is, straight from Trudeau's mouth. The pandemic is the excuse for a Great Reset of the world, led by the United Nations.
Last 6 months have laid bare fundamental gaps and inequities within our societies and between them. As with climate change, those who have the least are impacted the most. That's why last spring, Canada worked with Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Secretary General Antonio Guterres to convene a high-level meeting to discuss how leaders around the world could work together to close these gaps and build a better, more equitable system that works for everyone. In May, we agreed to look at 6 urgent areas of action to mobilize financing for the response and the recovery. Over the course of the summer, our 6 working groups produced over 250 policy options. On September 8th, finance ministers gathered to discuss these options and their recommendations for the short, medium, and long term. The most promising ideas will be taken up within existing IMF and World Bank processes, as well as at the G7 and G20 leaders' summits later in the fall. Then, in December, we're going to have the opportunity to meet again to discuss the progress we've made. Because we understand that right now we have to fix urgent problems, but in the long run, we also have to fix the system so that it works for everyone. To eliminate this virus anywhere, we need to eliminate it everywhere. While scientists work around the clock to develop a vaccine, as governments, we have the responsibility to ensure it'll be distributed quickly and fairly around the world. On Friday, I announced that Canada will provide $440 million to the COVID-19 Vaccine Global Access Facility, including $220 million to the Advanced Market Commitment to help low and middle-income countries access vaccines. This is an important initiative, and I encourage other governments to join in as well. We need to work together, and not just on vaccines. Canada believes that a strong, coordinated response across the world and across sectors is essential. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset. This is our chance to accelerate our pre-pandemic efforts to reimagine economic systems that actually address global challenges like extreme poverty, inequality, and climate change. Last week, our government committed to investing more in international development while supporting developing countries on their economic recoveries and resilience. And on that note, today, I can announce that Canada will invest $400 million more in humanitarian and development funding, which will go directly to trusted partners on the ground fighting COVID-19. Our government is committed to investing even more in the years to come. In addition, we will continue to advocate for extending the debt service suspension initiative. We will also work on ensuring the special needs of small island developing states and other vulnerable countries are taken into account. Building back better means getting support to the most vulnerable while maintaining our momentum on reaching the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the SDGs. Canada is here to listen and to help.
If you still believe that the Great Reset is a conspiracy, or that the pandemic is not being used to achieve this devilish plan, then you are truly lost, and there is little I can do for you. The coronavirus crisis has been used as a launch point to achieve a social justice wish list. Spearheaded by the World Economic Forum, the Great Reset is an elitist attempt to enact global socialism based on a set of values that comprise a new religion. Individuals are called to worship each other and draw morality from what is perceived to be the best group outcome. That's what Justin Trudeau is all about. Disappointingly, it's the ruling class versus the people, just like this whole pandemic is, don't you think? Till we see again in our next video, stay savvy.